Hi, I'm Emily Beck, Ward 4 Council Representative for Barberton.
Hi there, my name is Rebecca Gearhart and I'm the Ward 5 Councilwoman for Barberton. Emily and I are together this evening to read through the ballot language for the proposed charter changes that are going to be on the ballot this November. And Emily is going to read the ballot language to you, and then I will be reading the charter, how it would read if these proposals are voted on.
And passed. This video is by no means Rebecca and I giving you our opinion on what way you should vote. Vote your heart and the way you would like to see the charter changed, if you would like to see it changed at all. Also, I wanted to go over exactly how this came about and why there are so many 19 proposed charter changes. Every 5 years, there is a charter commission that is selected amongst the citizens of Barberton. And they go over the charter and discuss changes, if any, that should be made to our charter. Those ideas or proposals are then passed over to council, and we talk about them and vote on them, whether or not they should go on the ballot or not. So that is why we are doing it this year. There are so many of them, and why we're talking to you today.
And to add to what Emily just explained, council can also make proposed changes to the charter. Council can actually bring them up at any time. The commission is every 5 years, which I think you stated.
Indeed.
So hopefully that makes some sense why we're here with all of these proposals, and we appreciate you watching this video.
Let's begin. Okay, so now we're going to go over what you're going to see on your ballot. So issue 6 begins the charter amendments for Barberton. So issue 6, proposed charter amendment for City of Barberton. A majority affirmative vote is necessary for passage, and it will read as follows. Shall section 1.01 of Article 1 of the City Charter be amended to provide that the city may detach territory as provided by the laws of the state of Ohio.
So in the charter, this would read, the city shall have the same boundaries that exist on the effective date of this charter, with power and authority to change its boundaries and annex or detach other territory in the manner authorized by the laws of Ohio. This was proposed by the Charter Commission.
So I wanted to take a moment and just kind of clarify one thing about this proposed amendment. It did come from the Charter Commission, as Rebecca said. This doesn't mean that we have any plans currently or on the horizon to detach any land from Barberton. This was just a recommendation from some experienced people on the commission, the Charter Commission, that since we have provisions to attach land, we should have provisions to detach land in the case that becomes advantageous for Barberton to do so. We'll move on to section 7. Shall section 4.03 of Article 4 of the City Charter be amended to include qualifications for the City of Barberton Safety Director position?
So this is, first of all, it was proposed by the Charter Commission, and this is all in addition to the charter. So we would be adding qualifications. The Director of Public Safety shall have the following minimum qualifications: a bachelor's degree in management, public administration, or related discipline, and shall have a minimum of 5 years in operating, managing, and/or administrating public safety personnel or equivalent. The Director of Public Safety shall be selected on the basis of their administrative and executive qualifications.
So I just wanted to do a quick little caveat to that as well. We aren't changing the function or the responsibilities of the director. We are just adding qualifications. We didn't have them before.
Correct.
So we'll move on to issue 8. Issue 8 will read as follows. Shall section 4.02 of Article 4 of the City Charter be amended to include qualifications for the City of Barberton Service Director position, which will read, and Rebecca will go over that with you.
Okay, so issue 8 This was also brought to us by the Charter Commission, and it's adding qualifications. The Director of Public Service shall have the following minimum qualifications: a bachelor's degree in management, public administration, or related discipline, and shall have a minimum of 5 years operating, managing, and/or administrating municipal public works and equivalent. The Director of Public Service shall be selected on the basis of their administrative and executive qualifications.
Okay. And then we'll go on to issue 9, because this also goes in with the service director position. So issue 9 will read as follows. Shall section 4.02 of Article 4 of the City Charter be amended to include stormwater matters in the City of Barberton Service Director's responsibilities?
Okay, so this has also been brought to us by the Charter Commission, and it is adding into their description, he or she shall manage and control construction site stormwater runoff control, post-construction stormwater management in new development and redevelopment, illicit discharge detention and elimination, pollution prevention, good housekeeping for municipal operations, public education, and outreach regarding stormwater management, and public involvement and participation involving stormwater.
Okay. So move on to issue 10. Issue 10 will read as follows. Shall section 4.04 of Article 4 of the City Charter be amended to include new qualifications for the City of Barberton Finance Director position?
So this has two parts to it. The first part would be striking out what is already existing. What is already existing is he shall be a person who has had at least 2 years experience in corporate, business, municipal, county, state, or federal finance and a management level. That would be removed, and what is being proposed to be added is the Director of Finance shall further have the following minimum qualifications: knowledge of municipal accounting, taxation, budgets, and financial control, and shall hold a minimum of a bachelor's degree in accounting, finance, economics, or public administration from an accredited college or university. He shall have had at least 5 years experience in accounting or finance from any of the following: corporate, business, municipal, county, or federal entity prior to his or her election. And this was brought to us by the Charter Commission.
Okay. Issue 11. Issue 11 is, shall section 4.05 of Article 4 of the City Charter be amended to include new qualifications for the City of Barberton Law Director position?
Okay, so with issue 11, this first part that I will read is adding for the qualifications: the Director of Law shall be an attorney at a law duly admitted to the practice of law in the state of Ohio, this part was brought to us by the Charter Commission, minimum of 5 years of the practice of law. This next part was proposed by council, and shall have received no sanctions for disciplinary violations.
Okay, move on to section 12. Shall section 4.05 of Article 4 of the City Charter be amended to allow and authorize the law director to make editorial corrections to the City Charter, which shall be approved by resolution of City Council?
So we are wanting to add this, and this was brought to us by the Charter Commission. The law director may make editorial corrections, which shall be approved by resolution of City Council. And just to add to this, when it's editorial, that was even looking back at our charter currently only reads through like a male perspective. So
right.
Things like that could be changed. It would not change anything that wouldn't need to come to the residents or the spirit of the charter.
Right. They can't change the charter in its fundamentally or meaning or intent of the charter. Mm-hmm. It's really just, we've been reading things he he shall, that his position. So those kinds of changes are what editorial changes mean. So we'll move on to issue 13. Issue 13, shall section 5.11 of Article 5 of the City Charter be amended to remove the requirement that 6 public places in the municipality be established if public posting is selected for public notice.
Okay, perfect. So this was brought to us by the Charter Commission, and I will read it in its context. Public notice as required by law or by this charter or by resolution or ordinance shall be given resolutions, ordinances, statements, measures, orders, proclamations, and reports in the manner determined by council. This next part is what we're looking to have struck. Except that if public posting be selected as the medium, then not less than 6 public places in the municipality shall be established for such public posting. I believe this was probably put into our charter prior to social media and the internet.
Right. So that will just move it to basically digitally. Let's see, moving on to issue 14, we'll read as follows. Shall section 6.01B of Article 6 of the City Charter be amended to remove the requirement that the Planning Commission review the official master plan of the municipality periodically, and to add a requirement that the Planning Commission review the official master plan of the municipality every 5 years.
Thank you. This was also brought up by the Charter Commission, so we would be taking out the word periodically, as that is very broad, and we would be instead saying every 5 years. And this is, like Emily just read, in regards to our master plan.
Right. So, for example, like we're taking out just kind of like periodically, like whenever you like. Periodically is very subjective. Our charter review commission is, we have to do it every 5 years. So this is kind of following that model. Moving on to issue 16. We'll read as follows. Shall section 6.04 of Article 6 of the City Charter be amended to remove the Board of Health from the charter?
That is pretty simply what we're looking to do here. Right now, there is a long description of the Board of Health, and Barberton has not had a Board of Health in several years.
Since 2010, actually,
2010.
is when we merged with Summit County.
Okay, so we are wanting to strike from the charter the description of the Board of Health, which talks about how many members it has and frequency of meeting and how long they're on this. We would like to have it removed. And this was also, I don't think I mentioned, it was brought up by the Charter Commission.
Okay, so moving on to 17. 17.
I feel like it's important, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Go ahead.
There's no 15.
There is no 15.
Don't know
We did
why,
not make a
but there's no
mistake.
15,
There's no 15.
so we are not skipping a 15.
There isn't one. Thank
All
you.
right.
Issue 17 will read as follows. Shall section 6.04B of Article 6 of the City Charter be amended to establish a Department of Human Resources to require the Civil Service Commission to appoint a Director of Human Resources and to prescribe the qualifications and duties of the Director of Human Resources?
So I will read issue 17, and this was brought to us from council. There shall be a Department of Human Resources under the direction of Director of Human Resources. The Director of Human Resources shall report to the Civil Service Commission. This shall be a classified position. Qualifications. The Director of Human Resources shall have the following minimum qualifications: a bachelor's degree in human resources, business administration, public administration, or related field, and shall have a minimum of 5 years managing and or administering human resources. Duties. The Director of Human Resources shall develop and manage human resource policy and strategy, lead recruitment and retention, develop and maintain compensation, benefits and classifications, manage labor negotiations and bargaining unit relations, supervise performance management and disciplinary process, ensure all levels of compliance related to employment law, promote diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives and professional development, and supervise the director's staff and manage the human resource department budget.
Excellent. Thank you. All right, moving on to issue 19. Issue 19 shall read as follows. I skipped it.
So we're going to do 18 real quick.
18, sorry. Okay, issue 18 shall read as follows. Shall section 6.04C of Article 6 of the City Charter be amended to remove the language setting forth specific boards and commissions and replace with language allowing citizens to be appointed to any board or commission requiring city representation.
This was brought to us from the Charter Commission, and this would add to the charter a sentence saying, any board or commission that requires representation by the city of Barberton, the mayor shall appoint a member with confirmation by a majority of council.
And an example of this would be the Summit County Board of Health. Since we did away with our Board of Health 10 years ago and are now merged with the Summit County Board of Health, Barberton Citizen has a place on Summit County Board of Health, which is appointed by the mayor, and council approves that choice by the mayor. So that would be an example of that. Let's see, issue 19. Shall section 6.09 of Article 6 of the City Charter be amended to include language requiring all boards and commissions in section 6 of this charter be video and or audio recorded?
Okay, this was brought to us by council. All boards and commissions within Article 6 of this charter shall be video and or audio broadcast, recorded, and published for the public by the city in its entirety.
And just to kind of explain that one, council is always recorded and broadcast live during council session, but then also it is published onto YouTube. So this would be similar for, say, the Board of Zoning, things like that. Design Review Board, that's right.
Parks and Rec.
Parks and Rec. So those would be recorded and then available for public to either view with your eyeballs or listen to. So
with your ears.
With your ears. All right, issue 20 will read as follows. Let's go to that. All right. Shall Article 7 of the City Charter be amended to replace partisan elections with non-partisan elections?
Okay. So as you can see, this is a pretty big one.
It's a big one.
So this would take out some of the language where we talk about the time for holding and then nominating elections in the primaries, because we need to replace it with this language that I'm going to read. So the regular municipal election shall be held on the first Tuesday after the first Monday in November of each odd-numbered year. All elections shall be nonpartisan without party affiliation appearing on the ballot. I'd like to pause and mention everybody would still have their own party affiliation. If you have one, it would just not be on the ballot. And I believe this would also help open to independents.
Indeed.
Also.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next section. There shall be no primary election for a municipal office unless the number of persons filing nomination petitions exceed more than 2 times the number of offices available for nomination. For the office of mayor, director of law, and director of finance, there shall be no primary election unless 4 or more persons file nominating petitions. For the office of ward council member, there shall be no primary election for such ward unless 4 or more persons file a nominating petition for such ward. For purposes of this provision affecting the necessity of a primary election, the term nominating petition shall include only those petition and nominating papers which the Board of Elections have reviewed, examined, and certified as to their sufficiency and validity. In the event it is necessary to hold a primary election, such nonpartisan primary election shall be held in the municipality on the first Tuesday after the first Monday in May prior to such municipal election. Those persons receiving the highest vote totals and equal in number to twice the number of offices for which such election is held shall be designated candidates for such office, subject to applicable provisions of this charter. Each person desiring to become a candidate for nomination to be voted for at a primary election shall, not later than 4 p.m. of the 19th day before the day of such primary election, file with the Board of Elections of Summit County, Ohio, a declaration of candidacy and a nominating petition. Each nominating petition for a candidate for any office filled by election for mayor, director of law, director of finance, president of council, and council at large shall be signed by not less than 75 qualified electors of the municipality and shall contain signatures of qualified electors from each ward in the municipality. Each nominating petition for a candidate for ward councilperson shall be signed by not less than 25 qualified electors from such ward. Each candidate shall file a separate nominating petition. Group petitions shall not be used. Other elections. Such other elections shall be held as many be required by law or provided for in this charter. Any matter which by the terms of this charter may be submitted to the electors at any special election may be submitted at the time of a primary or regular election. Except as otherwise provided in this charter, the laws of the state of Ohio applicable to elections shall govern this procedure for the nomination and election of the elected officers of the municipality and the method of holding and conducting elections.
That was a lot.
That was a lot.
That is a big one. So I kind of wanted to talk a little tiny bit about that because A, it's a lot. B, I can understand where people may hear that and kind of ruffle some feathers. First of all, you wouldn't have a D or an R next to your name. It doesn't mean that you're not allowed to identify as such, D or R, or talk about your party affiliation. Mm-hmm. You are more than welcome to talk about that and run on that kind of platform. Just when you go into the ballot booth, it will not say D or R next to your name. Right. Much the same as Board of Education. Mm-hmm. Doesn't run that way, and neither does our
clerk of courts.
Clerk of courts
or judges, I believe, would not have their party affiliation with their name.
That also doesn't mean that we wouldn't ever have a primary. We talked about some parameters having to be met to trigger a primary in our Barberton elections. We're still going to have a primary for anything outside or higher up in government than in Barberton. Mm-hmm. So we're not taking that away from anybody.
No.
And if you feel passionately one way or another, you are more than welcome to vote the way your heart tells you to vote. So just kind of wanted to go over that. And we might want to have a secondary video because this is a big one.
Yes, I agree.
So keep an eye out for that. We may do another one just to kind of specifically focus on this issue.
Mm-hmm. And I think everything else that we've been covering so far and will continue to cover in this video has really been about updating and modernizing our charter specifically. It's a lot of charter updates. This is a whole new thing. This
Right.
is kind of outside of the charter, and it would definitely change some of the political landscape for
Indeed.
Barberton.
Indeed. So, but also if you have any questions about anything, call Rebecca or myself, or
Please.
you have the council member for your area, council at large. We are more than happy to go over this with you and talk about it with you and answer any questions you might have.
And I'm not sure if we mentioned it, but this was brought to us by
Oh, we
the Charter Commission. This was not a council initiative.
Yes, Charter Commission did bring this forward. Okay, so we will move on to issue 21. Issue 21 will read as follows. Shall section 12.02 of Article 12 of the City Charter pertaining to the Charter Review Commissions be amended to change certain deadlines, eliminate the prohibition on more than 4 commission members being members of the same political party and requiring a public hearing on commission recommendations. It was also a mouthful. Rebecca's going to go over the language in the charter, and we'll talk a little bit more about that.
Yes, thank you. So first of all, this was brought to us by the Charter Commission. I believe getting rid of any partisanship in the Charter Commission was also a reflection of wanting to get rid of it at the ballot box too.
Yes.
So that being said, a couple changes. Currently, there is a no later than the last day of February for them to get the recommendations over to council. They want to make that no later than the last day of January. So that does give us an extra month for this to come through council, for constituents to reach out to their council members and just discuss things. So then currently it says, the members of the commission shall be 7 qualified electors of the municipality. And then we want to strike out what I'm about ready to read next. No more than 4 of whom are members of the same political party. So we will not be considering your political party whenever you're wanting to be on the Charter Commission. Further down, the Charter Review Commission shall, in meetings open to the public, review the municipal charter and no later than the 3rd Monday in April of the same year, recommend to council such amendments, if any. So I did make a mistake in that. They will be appointed no later than January. And then they will have it to council in April versus June.
It was June. We'll have it sooner in
Yes.
April.
So do I need to repeat all that, or does that
No.
make sense? Okay. So the commission will be formed instead of February and January, and then they will have it over to council in April instead of June. That's the change there. Then we would be adding a line that says, council shall hold a public hearing on the recommendations submitted by the Charter Review Commission within 30 days of the submission of recommendations. So making sure that it's open to the public and everybody can come talk about it and ask questions and hear a lot of the conversation that we got to hear, because the Charter Commission did come into council and explain this is why we think this is the best for Barberton and why we'd like to see it on the ballot.
Yes. And also, council talked about this for a very long time. We went over everything for about 6 months in council, which previously I said it is live broadcast and you can look at things any day of the week on YouTube. So anything that has made it to the ballot and council has voted on, from Charter Review Commission to even things put forward from council members, we have talked to death. So if anything you want to kind of check up on or look at, like, it is all recorded. So that is one thing that is good about researching things. So this is kind of streamlining that, but just so everybody understands how we go through this process is a little bit more in depth. And I do encourage everybody to look up our charter and double check everything that we are telling you. So this is section 12.02.
And in fact, since Emily just said that now, I might repeat this at the end also, but for you to find our city charter, you would go to cityofbarberton.com. You would then go to the government drop-down tab you would pick City Council, and then as soon as you click that, a new screen opens and there are some boxes, and you would pick the box that says City Charter. You would be able to read our charter as it is written now versus kind of how we're reading it with the changes and adjustments that are being proposed on the ballot.
Right.
But we encourage everybody to do that.
But also, if you wanted to do that, you could also pull up, this is what I have in front of me right now, this is what I'm reading from, is a sample ballot from the Summit County Board of Elections. So those two supplements together, you know, you can kind of take a look at and cross-reference. So every time I say shall section 4.02D of Article 4 of the City Charter, that's where you'll find what we want to change, or not that we want to change it, but what is put forth for you to vote on whether or not we change it. So you can follow along. You don't have to read the entire thing. You can just read the sections that are up for proposal. So we will move on to section 20, I'm sorry, issue 22, which I have here. All right, so issue 22. Shall section 4.02C of Article 4 of the City Charter be amended to change the position of city engineer to a classified position and change the appointing authority of the city engineer to the Director of Public Service?
Thank you. So this was brought forward by council. As it currently reads, the city engineer, who shall be a registered State of Ohio professional civil engineer and who shall be appointed by, we want to take out mayor, and we want them to be appointed by the Director of Public Service, and shall be under the supervision of the Director of Public Service. This was why this was proposed. They will carry out the duties of city engineer as provided by ordinance, or not in ordinance as provided by general law. Then we want to change here, this shall be an unclassified. We want to take out the word un to make it classified. And that is issue 22.
And that was brought forth by council.
Correct.
Okay. Issue 23. Issue 23. Shall section 4.02D of Article 4 of the City Charter be amended to change the position of the Superintendent of Utilities to a classified position and change the appointing authority of Superintendent of Utilities to the Director of Public Service?
Great. So this again was brought forward by council, and it is, there shall be within the Department of Public Service a division of utilities under the direction of a superintendent of utilities who shall be appointed by, we would like to take out the word mayor and instead make that the Director of Public Service, and shall be under the supervision of the Director of Public Service. This is why this was proposed. They will carry out the duties of a superintendent of utilities as provided by ordinance, or if not by ordinance, as provided by general law. This shall be an, we want to take out the word un and make it a classified position.
Did you say that was put forth by council?
Yes, ma'am.
It was. Okay. All right, 2 more to go. We're almost there, you guys. Thank you so much for staying with us and paying attention all this time. We understand this is a lot. So thank you very much. Issue 24. Shall section 4.02B of Article 4 of the City Charter be amended to change the position of building commissioner to classified and change the appointing authority of the building commissioner to Director of Public Service?
Thank you. Again, like the past two, this was brought forward by council. There shall be within the Department of Public Service a division of building inspection under the direction of a building commissioner who shall be appointed by, we would like to take out the word mayor and have it instead say the Director of Public Service, and be under the supervision of the Director of Public Service. Again, that's why this was proposed. They will carry out the duties of a building commissioner as provided by ordinance, or if not by ordinance, as provided by general law. This shall be, we want to take out the word un and just make it a classified position. Again, this was brought forward by council, And the ability to take it from un to classified does allow for some protection of these employees.
Okay. Issue 25 will read as follow. Shall section 4.03 be amended to include a division of Parks and Recreation, and shall section 6.03 be stricken to eliminate the Parks and Recreation Commission?
Great. So this was originally proposed through the Charter Commission. It was not voted through council and then brought back by council.
Yes.
Okay. So the first part that you read would be putting the Department of Parks and Rec under section 4.03, which is the Department of Public Safety. And then we would be eliminating the Parks and Rec Commission, which I will now read what our charter currently has regarding that. Section 6.03, Parks and Recreation Commission. There is hereby established a Parks and Recreation Commission, which shall consist of 5 members who are electors of the city, holding no other public office. 3 of these members shall be appointed by the mayor with confirmation by the majority of council to serve without compensation for the term of 5 years. Except that the original appointments for terms begin January 1st, 1974, one shall be appointed for a term for 1 year, and one for a term of 3 years, and one for a term of 5 years. The remaining 2 members of the Parks and Recreation Commission shall be appointed by the Barberton Board of Education with the confirmation of a majority of council, and shall consist of 1 member of the Board of Education, with the remaining members being a person appointed by the Board of Education, and shall serve without compensation for the term of 5 years, except that of the original appointments for terms beginning on January 1st, 1974. One shall be for a term of 2 years and one for a term of 4 years. In any case, sorry, the words have a strike through them. In any case where the Board of Education shall fail within 60 days to make the appointments or to fill a vacancy on the commission, the mayor shall make the appointments with confirmation by council. The Board of Park Commissioners herefore existing shall be abolished on the effective date of this charter. It then would go on to discuss the frequency of meeting once a month. Vacancies on the commission shall be filled in the same manner as original appointments. Meetings shall be open to the public, and a record shall be kept showing the vote of each member on each question. This would strike out their powers and duties. The Parks and Recreation Commission shall appoint a director, and if deemed necessary, an assistant director, and such other employees as are necessary for the execution of its duties, and it shall control, equip, and manage parks, playgrounds, ball fields, gymnasiums, swimming pools, indoor recreation centers, and any lands or buildings owned or used by the city for park or recreation purposes. The commission shall also have the authority to establish fees and charges relative to operation of various programs and to expand funds received from sources other than the municipal funds. The director and assistant director shall serve at the pleasure of the Parks and Recreation Commission. These shall be unclassified positions. Such other full-time employees as authorized by the commission shall be certified and classified under the civil service rules and regulations. Powers and duties continue that this commission, and this is all again being on the ballot to be eliminated, shall advise with respect to the acquisition, development, maintenance, and operations of the parks and recreational facilities of the city. The board shall solicit input from, provide assistance to, and cooperate with civic, historical, and youth athletic organizations in providing these services and facilities. The commission shall serve in any advisory capacity to both the mayor and council. The board shall develop a plan to provide for the parks and recreation needs of the community and shall oversee implementation of the plan. The commission has no power to commit the expenditure of public monies except as expressly provided for by council. The authority to purchase, sell, lease, dispose of, or accept as donations any property or monies resides in council. Excuse me. And I believe that is it regarding this commission.
It is. Now, that doesn't mean that we are not going to have a Parks and Rec division. We will still have a Parks and Rec division. We will just not have the commission that is made up of basically citizens.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not getting rid of Parks and Rec. Or not we. You're not voting to get rid of Parks and Rec.
Mm-hmm.
But that is all 19 amendments.
Mm-hmm.
Again, we do definitely encourage you to basically cross-check. Bring up the Barberton Charter, bring up your sample ballot, and look at each and every single thing, to vote the way you think things should go. This video was by no means telling you how to vote, whether you should vote yes or no. Vote the way you think you should vote. Vote your heart. But thank you so much. I know this video is very long. These issues are, some of them, a bit complicated and maybe a bit hard to understand. So reach out to any one of us on council. Rebecca is the chair of Rules and Marketing. I am the co-chair of Rules and Marketing. That's why we're sitting in front of you now. But every single member of council has sat through every single meeting that we had about this and should be able to answer any question you may have. So reach out to any of us.
Yes, again, we were not voicing any opinions in this video. We merely wanted to read the ballot language and then read to you the charter, just so it would make more sense when you're reading it over. And we do ask that people go to the voting booth educated on this. The power to make the charter changes was given to the people. So the commission and the council can make recommendations, but if our residents are not educating themselves about what these issues are, we're not going to be able to bring many changes. So again, to repeat Emily in a way, please reach out to us. We would be happy to answer questions. If we don't have the answers, get the answers for you, and help with any questions that we can.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Go vote, Barberton.